Robert
Welcome
and
back to
Friends.
Robert
Welcome back to Robert and Friends. My
Wait,
friends
your
couldn't-
friends aren't coming.
Yeah, my friends couldn't be here, so I had to bring these two old bags.
Two sisters talk about dumb shit. We hope you like it. Cause if not, then we'll kill ourselves and the blood will be on your hands. Young old.
The way
Wow.
that fell so flat.
The way you guys started the whole Robert and Friends thing, and then I
yeah,
tried
but
to
we
hop
didn't
on.
call ourselves old bags.
Yeah.
I thought that was like it was like goofy. It was like funny to be like, oh, these old bags.
Why is calling someone a bag derogatory? Like, what's so wrong with
I think
think
it's
it's-
kind of like a hag, but like it's a bag.
I think
But
it's
like,
'cause
it's not a hag. It's
the
bag.
human beauty standard has no overlap with a bag. There's nothing about a bag. There's no qualities that a bag would possess that a human would want
That's
to
why
possess.
it's, do you ever feel like a plastic bag
Blowing
drifting
in the
through the
wind.
wind?
Right, like a bag is just such an object.
Yeah.
Like a bag has no soul.
Yes, bags have no
But
souls.
sometimes
and-
bags are really expensive, and hot
T,
girls
what kind
love
of bag? Well, that's why
bags.
Katie specifies plastic bag.
Right.
If she was like, "Do you ever feel like a Birkin bag?" I'd be like, "I wish I did."
So true. I mean, that was a meme on Tumblr in the 2000s. That was like the bags under my eyes are designer.
T. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that
The
was
bags
like-
under my eyes are Gucci.
Okay, I do think we're in an era, a Renaissance era of that era. Like right
Oh,
now,
like the Tumblr shit is coming back?
Kylie
Yeah,
has a new
yeah.
lip kit. Did you see that?
Oh no,
So
but the King Kylie era is so bad.
Yeah, King Kylie era is really bad, but like Kylie is literally releasing a new glossy lip kit, and it's
Wow.
so it feels so
okay, but
circular.
glossy is not matte though.
Well, the matte lip
the
kit
matte
was like
era was
such
crazy.
an era. Well, we were walking around with like dry, cakey
Yeah.
ass
Right, because it's like it
lips.
looks good the second you apply it,
Also,
and then
let's be real,
afterwards,
the first three colors all looked like poop. Dude, the original
Bruh.
Kylie lip kit era was so funny because even I were walking around with poops.
It was a
Dude.
social experiment. It was a social experiment. We fell hook, line, sinker.
We really
sinker.
did. Like to the point. Also, we were like some of the first people who had lip kits. We had some
Well,
of the
because
OG
the
lip
drops
kits.
were so like
coveted.
yeah, limited and like
It was
hard
scarce.
to.
It was
I
a
feel
scarce
like we're in a 2000s Tumblr poop kit renaissance.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's definitely a poop kit renaissance.
Yeah. Did you see
Dude.
Kylie just dropped a new poop?
Did you see she just dropped a new poopy?
Kylie's selling a new version of her poopy.
Yeah.
We're
That's
all
how you
buying
know.
it.
That's how you know
the
it's a
thing is,
renaissance.
okay, it comes out June 24th, and I literally am like, am I getting another Kylie lip kit? Like, am I going? Am I?
Obviously, you are.
And I also have the phrase in my head on a loop, like the more things change, the more they stay the same. Where it's like I can't escape myself. Like I can't escape the part of me that always wants to buy the Kylie lip kit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
Well,
will
Dana,
never
Dana's
evolve
always
past
like,
lip
I'm a
kit.
new me. Yesterday's me has nothing in common with me now. I'm a totally new person. And you look at a picture of her from 20 years ago, and it's like, oh, you're exactly the same.
Right, like I've never evolved in my life, but I think that I'm in a constant state of evolution. And
Yeah.
like, what is that?
You're like, I'm in a constant state of evolution as you apply the same damn Kylie poop kit as you applied
As
in
I
the two
smear new
2010s.
But the Kylie poopy's new. It's like a new
It's a
kind
new
of Kylie
poop.
poopy.
it's a new. It's not the same old poop.
It's not like the same poop.
I mean, she's a mother now.
Yeah,
It's a new
mommy
Kylie.
poopy.
Duh.
Duh. I mean, I do really remember that era too, where I wanted to be Kylie so bad, and then she went and like had a kid, and I was like, well, I can't have a kid.
You're like,
and
not
so
that
she
bad.
became like, right. It became like I went from really wanting to copy her to being like, I can't fucking copy you. You
Well,
have
there was a
baby.
stage where Kylie had become the new most relatable Kardashian, and everyone was
Yeah.
like, "Hell yeah, that's me." And then she had a kid at 19, and everyone's like, "Okay, I don't know if that is me."
She was
Right.
done being relatable.
But she's
like
kind of
F it.
circled back because now she's dating a sports guy, which is kind of very relatable.
A sports guy.
Chalamet.
He's a sports guy.
He goes
he's
to-
a guy who likes sports.
Yes, he
Oh,
goes to
yeah.
like Knicks games, and she sits
I didn't
next to him.
even though I knew they like went to the Knicks game and stuff, I still never regarded him in my head as a sports guy.
But that's been what a lot of the discourse has been about. Is like, oh, I had no idea Timothy Chalamet knew ball like that.
Right.
This is what the boy internet has been talking about.
I
Okay.
did. Well, no, I heard about the girl internet also talks about it, but like not in the same lens, I guess. Like on Just Trish, obviously, what I listen to 24/7, they were saying like the double standard between Taylor going to games and like Timothy going to games.
What's the double standard?
That
there?
they're like she's well, to be fair, she's a much bigger celebrity than
Yeah.
Timothy. But they're like when she goes, it's she's distracting from the game. But when he goes, he's like down on the court playing with the players, and people think it's cool.
Wow, girl internet sounds so fun.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
no,
wow,
it's not
girl
even.
internet sounds
It's
so
not even
awesome
girl
and
internet. It's
fun.
just Trish internet.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
So that's its own. That's its own.
I love it how it's like, oh wow, did you see those videos of like Timothy Chalamet and Kylie like getting cheered on at the sports game? Isn't that fun? And you're like, actually, there's a lot of controversy, and actually, it's actually not okay. Am I right?
Dude, girl internet is all about creating controversy.
Yeah,
where you didn't know
none,
controversy
where there's
could
zero
be
controversy.
Created. Yeah.
But also the Timothy Chalamet Reddit, which you'd think, it'd be a fan page for Timothy Chalamet. It's actually a hate page for Kylie. It's actually Kylie Jenner Snark page.
Yeah.
But it's called the Timothy
here's
Chalamet
the real truth:
page.
is boys are not fun to talk about. Boys are
They're
only fun to
always
talk about in
gonna-
relation to other
Yeah,
girls.
that's so real.
Well, I will say a lot of the hatred for Kylie from Timothy Chalamet female fans is just because they convinced themselves that Timothy Chalamet was some art boy, European, A24 cool guy who would only want to date, some theater kid who looks a lot like them. And instead he's like, no, I actually like beautiful women. Isn't that a shock?
Is it? Well, but also there's this element of them thinking that he's been duped somehow.
Yeah.
As if he's not a grown ass man. Like,
Oh man, it would suck to be duped into having sex with Kylie Jenner.
no, but that's literally what they.
to be
and
tricked
they're
like that.
And people are like, what do they even have in common? People are like they act like she's like this succubus that's mind controlling him with her boobies.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Her
dude, not,
boobies
like,
are mind control orbs.
He could have sex with anyone. Like famously, he was what is it? The
I don't
chlamydia
think-
pun.
Can we
Yeah,
comment?
we can say
We
that.
comment?
Well, we can,
You're
we can
so
say,
PR
We can say what
coded.
the rumors are.
There were
We're
the
not
rumors.
saying Timothy Chalamet
No.
had chlamydia. We're saying there
There's
are rumors
rumors.
that he had chlamydia and
Wait,
gave
what
it
was
to
the
everyone.
nickname?
And chlamydia is curable.
Did he have a
You're
Timmy
the one who-
chlamydia?
Yeah, was that it?
Timmy chlamydia.
You're the one who told
yeah,
me
Timmy
it.
chlamydia.
And
I don't
chlamydia is
know.
curable, right?
Yeah, it's curable.
Yeah.
What are we even
Oh,
talking
it's
about?
It's like mono of the groin.
It's mono of the
fine.
groin. It's not a big deal.
I love it how people are like, Timothy Chalamet was tricked into dating Kylie Jenner. We all know he'd really be attracted to, I don't know, a 35-year-old theater kid from Idaho.
Okay, in conspiracy internet,
I think they're
will
35,
say,
but also like 13, and it's like, babe, calm
right,
down.
right. It's
Calm
it's a
down,
lot of
queen.
like ugly preteens who are like Timothy
Yeah.
would love me.
Yeah.
Okay, but I will say in the conspiracy internet, there's a lot of talk all the time about how Kardashians use quote unquote glamour magic, which is basically just them saying that they use the fact that they're hot to get people to buy things from them.
Oh,
but
no.
they do call it glamour magic.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
I
kinda
guess
like,
you could say that
yeah,
Timothy.
duh.
Yeah.
Well, I use something called mid magic, whereas I use the fact that I'm mid to get people to avoid me in public.
Wow.
It works so well.
Not its full cycle. Well, for some instructors. For some,
I always
doesn't
get so much attention at Soul Cycle still. It's great because the one we go to most regularly now, she doesn't know my name. It's like how like in fairy tales, you don't want to let the witch know your name
That's
because
so
your name
real.
holds the key
The
to like
power.
magically
That's so
controlling you.
real.
The
Well,
Soul
that's
Cycle
Spirited
instructor,
Away.
they can't know your name.
Yeah.
And so they don't, so they have no power over me. Meanwhile, Bewitched, these two. These two are totally bewitched
I'll
in
be
there.
bewitched any day.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well,
Period.
it's also like in fairies, the Secret World of Fairies book. That is our
oh
Bible
yeah,
of
don't tell them.
sorts.
Make up a fake
You
name
have to make
for
up a fake name.
being in the fairy world. 'cause
Yeah.
or
you don't
you'll
want
never
them
be able to
know.
come back to the real world.
Yeah.
Which is like in Spirited Away.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a flower crown. Didn't anyone notice?
We noticed. We didn't bring it up on purpose.
Why?
We didn't think it was.
Well,
we didn't
I
think
was
it
more
was.
focused on the swimsuit type.
Oh my
So-
god. Okay, I'm so freaking over you
Dana
calling.
is like,
Dude,
she always has like a little peekaboo bloomer moment, which we've talked about, because it's relevant.
I think having a little underwear peeking out is like nothing.
Okay, then if you're so
to be
confident in it,
embarrassed
if you're so confident in it, then why are you so upset when I make a
because
comment?
I have a secret hater around who has to.
But I'm not secret. I'm not secret. I'm just
There's no secret.
I'm out loud and proud.
But I just don't. It's very rude to like.
but why is it? If I'm just going, oh, the Dipes a swimsuit today.
That's
if
not a
you're-
value neutral observation.
You're so confident in your diape. If you're so confident in your diape, then why does it matter?
In the fact that like I have a little undie peeking out. I get
Okay, so
less
if I said-
confident when you call it dive. Like
That's
why
my
do you
term
have
of
to just call it
endearment.
dive?
That's
It's
my
not
term.
It's not endearing.
Also-
You're not endeared by it.
It's so funny
I'm
how
not a secret
Eve,
hater. I'm an out hater. Thank you.
Eve didn't graduate high school. She's not someone who I would consider academic, but she becomes like a full-blown literary genius when it comes to describing Dana's
in a
diaper.
mean way.
She's like, we have a peekaboo bloomer. It's like, that's almost beautiful as a turn of praise.
Anyway, I like to wear a low-rise pant, and it's either a
And a
flash
high-rise
crack
diaper.
or a flash diaper.
And
Not
a Fruit of the Loom Kids Target polka dot undie.
I actually recently bought adult underwear.
Gasp.
That's a new evolution for me.
We're
Thank
so
you,
proud.
everyone.
Wow.
The confetti rains
30
down.
years of age.
30 years of
30
age.
years
I
of
finally,
age.
I found myself in the women's section of Target going, I should buy my underwear
Dana
here.
on her
That's
Love Island
crazy.
intro. I'm Dana. I'm 30 years old. I just recently bought a pair of adult underwear.
Wait, I
That was
literally
huge for
just had a
me.
flashback to when I was in Target one time and mom like left me in the kids section to like look at stuff and then she went somewhere else. And somehow, I'm pretty sure she was Filipina. This lady somehow roped me into trying on like a bunch of different sweaters so she could see which ones like would fit her niece. And I remember thinking all these sweaters are really ugly and I feel really bad for your niece. But then I was just sitting there for so long.
It's
like,
almost weird
letting
that
her
she
put
didn't-
different sweaters
That's really
on
That she
me.
didn't try to kidnap you. This feels like the
Yeah.
start of a story where you were then lured out to her
I
van.
don't know.
Famously, American Apparel, now Los Angeles Apparel, had a scandal like when they were in their heyday, probably like 2012 to 2015. And weird men would come in and tell employees that like, oh, you're the same size as my girlfriend. Can you try
Yeah.
this on? And then the things they would ask them to try on would get progressively more revealing.
You take it to you.
And it was like it was a whole thing.
Right. But also it's like, okay, if you know your girlfriend's size.
But it wasn't actually for their
It
No,
wasn't actually for their girlfriend, Eve.
saying like
Which
the
is
story
which
is
is why we're
old.
saying the
Their
fact that
story
like that
is
lady actually had a
old.
niece
They
is
would have
crazy.
got Eve. They would have got Eve. If Eve was
She could have still been a pervert, like, but
Yeah.
also she wasn't having me try and reveal. They were all ugly, huge sweaters.
For me,
Yes.
that was the perversion. Is like, can I make this little girl ugly?
Yes.
Well,
Maybe
to
she
be
was
clear,
playing, like,
I don't
ugly
think this
dolls.
woman was a pervert, which again, it's
No.
almost, it's funny that she was moving like a pervert to achieve non-perverted goals.
Yeah, but
She
I'm
was
like-
just trying to get her niece a sweater.
I literally
Right.
remember being like, I feel so bad for this niece. All these sweaters are hideous.
Dude.
And I think I remember trying to be like, oh, maybe she would like this, like
trying
pointing to a
to-
top like
dude.
I like, and she's like, no.
You were trying to work in favor of the
I
niece.
was,
It just
but-
wasn't.
Luckily, my
wasn't
mid magic
happening.
was in full effect. No one was getting me to try on clothes. No one was
okay,
interested.
too.
Yeah.
But I'm like, where was my mom in all this?
No, truly.
Where was your mom? As your, 'cause this
I was
thing
being
would
made
take a
into a
while.
human doll at the Target kids section.
I wonder where she was in Target.
I don't know, man.
I remember being alone in Target a lot.
I don't think I was that young. Like probably like 10 or so. Not like
Sorry, I'm a little sick today.
same.
So
Maybe
was
I got
you.
you sick. So
You
Not
probably
me.
did.
I'm chilling.
Good for you. Immune system of steel.
Oh,
It's your mid magic.
can we bring-
the sickness?
Are you
Doesn't
gonna bring
even
up the
want
zombie
you.
apocalypse?
Well, we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
But I want to bring something else up. Dana and Eve signed all three of us up. I did not ask for this. They did this. They signed. Dana and Eve signed us all up for a Soul Cycle Hamilton Greatest Showman ride.
It's tomorrow.
They signed us up for that. And then they were like, we're not even going to know any Greatest Showman songs. And I said, no, Greatest Showman has some pretty big songs. It's got like This Is Me, Rewrite the Stars, like I think Never Enough, or whatever. And I say this, and they look at me like I'm a fruity little theater gay boy who
you
it's
are.
weird that I know these songs. I've never seen The Greatest
I've
Showman.
never
I
heard a
don't-
Greatest Showman song in my life.
Me neither.
I literally am. I'm floored that you knew a single song.
But also he keeps being and
he keeps being like, it's in the zeitgeist, and then he keeps being like, that movie made $200 million, and it's like, I've literally, truly, on my life, never heard
First
them
of all,
songs there.
clearly it's in the zeitgeist. It's mainstream. There's a Soul Cycle ride, Greatest Showman. The Greatest Showman is mainstream, and I'm not crazy for saying it.
I believe it's in a zeitgeist, which
Yeah,
is
I believe
the
it's in,
fruity
the
little
fruity little theater kid zeitgeist. Yeah.
So the
No,
fact
it's
that
in my
you-
zeitgeist.
Yeah,
I-
that's
Yeah.
the fruity little theater kid zeitgeist.
No.
That's the assertion
I've
that's
never-
being.
I know This Is
Before
Me.
it.
Look out, cause here I come.
You see,
Okay,
saying
and then he
that,
kept
yeah.
doing that. He kept being like, "Oh, come on, you guys know this one, poop and pee. Come on, you know you gotta pee."
It's not a poop and pee song. It's like Zac Efron and Zendaya, two of our biggest stars, sang a duet, Rewrite the Stars. Rewrite the Stars. I'm not making this
Come
up.
on, you know poop in my pee.
You know
It's
poop in
not
my
poop in my pee.
That's
Come
what
on, you
we're
know that
saying.
one.
Yeah. You've got to know poop in my pee.
This is also weird. You signed all of
It
us
was on the
up for a
charts.
Greatest Showman ride at Soul
Well,
Cycle,
because
and
we
then
were
I'm weird for
Hamilton
knowing
fans.
it.
We're
component.
Hamilton
Yeah.
fans.
I could,
And I'm sure I won't I'm sure I'll listen to the Greatest Showman ride songs there at the ride, and I'll be like, "Oh."
well, let's also be
this
clear about
guy-
this. The Greatest Showman is no more cringe than Hamilton. It's not like if you like
Well, I
Hamilton.
wouldn't know. know. I wouldn't know because I don't know it.
because we don't know it.
I could also argue The Greatest Showman. It's not more mainstream. I can
not-
argue
No,
it has a more
Hamilton's
mainstream audience.
huge. Hamilton is huge.
But I would say Hamilton is definitely huge Broadway. But Greatest Showman, again, it made something like $400 million at the worldwide box office. It has a mainstream audience.
Right, and then that was his other thing, was saying how much money. And we're like, come on, you know, Poop in the Pea. It made $400 million.
Poop in the Pea.
Okay, also, if a movie called Poop in the Pea made $400 million, this podcast would know about it. Let's not act like that wouldn't be something that would come across our desk.
But it's like the way I'm
Poop
like,
it with me.
I don't even know what The Greatest Showman is about. Like, I know
Same.
that
You
know what it's
Zendaya-
about.
No, I don't. I literally don't
We
know the
literally have
plot.
It's
no
like
idea.
the circus. It's like a musical in the
I
circus.
wouldn't even guess
Yeah, I wouldn't.
that.
I
It's
literally
P.T.
wouldn't know
Barnum.
that. I wouldn't know that.
It's also so many viral TikTok audios. This is the one that we've been waiting for.
Look,
I've
I'm
never
sure
heard that
there's a
viral
big
audio.
audience for it, and you're in it.
I'm not in it. I
We're
don't
just
like The
not in
Greatest
it.
Showman.
Like, we're just not getting that on our For You because TikTok doesn't think we're free
That's
little
not
theater
in my
kids.
It doesn't
Oreo.
think that either about me.
It
It's just
does,
it's zeitgeist.
obviously.
Well, it's the way like I had never seen Wicked for my whole life, but I knew Defying Gravity and Popular. I'd never seen The Greatest Showman. I know This Is Me. I know Rewrite the Stars. I
Look,
feel like
the
Never Be Enough or
algorithm
whatever.
never lies. Okay, it knows who you are. It knows what you like. You clearly watch enough videos to get to know all those songs.
It's not like I watch it. You hear
and
it.
you're
It's
going to
on
be
the. It's
singing along during the
osmosis.
ride.
It's osmosis.
You're
But
all
how come
promoting
we don't
different things
know-
than us.
Because you guys aren't aware of your environment. Because you guys are closed off from
Okay.
the world and what
to the Greatest Showman.
Well, The Greatest Showman is, yes, part of it. And again, This Is Me. You've never seen it's like the bearded lady, like, this is me. Look out, because here I
Who
come.
plays the bearded lady?
Oh, I don't know. But she was also in something else. She had a small role in something else.
Is Zendaya clean faced in it? Clean shaven?
They all have
Zendaya
beards.
does not play the bearded woman. I don't know who anyone plays. I think Zac Efron and Zendaya just play two young hot people who love each other. I think Hugh Jackman plays the head of the circus. Rebecca Ferguson, she plays, I think, Hugh Jackman's wife, estranged wife, something, and she sings Never Will Be Enough, but also famously she's lip syncing, and it's a great lip sync. And again, I don't like The Greatest Showman. These are things kind of everyone
She
knows.
sings Poop is Wet sometimes.
She does not sing
And that
Poop
was
is Wet
huge.
sometimes.
And
No,
that was
I mean, that
huge.
was
That
in
was
the
on the radio.
zeitgeist.
Greatest Showman is zeitgeist.
I'm just like, the proof's in the pudding. The fact that we don't know about it shows that it's not.
I
No,
will say,
but-
Alex Warren, when he was marketing his initial music launch, he did use Greatest Showman
As
as,
a
a
reference
sales tool. And but I will say, I think what was so genius about Alex Warren's early marketing was he said, for fans of Bridgerton meets Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
that was his like initial.
Well, I think what was really great about
Campaign launch.
Alex Warren's early marketing was that he stood before a satanic altar and drove a dagger into the chest of a virgin.
Which we all know.
And that's what gave him the ability to transition into full-blown pop star. You know, Alex Warren, like Ordinary is like the #1 fucking song in
Yeah.
the world.
Not any. I think I got dethroned by Man-Child, actually.
By Man-Child?
Yeah.
All right, two demonic vessels doing battle on the
Yeah,
charts.
dude, for
Sabrina
real.
Carpenter Devil Magic against Alex Warren Devil Magic. That's
and
pretty
who
good.
will win?
Who will win?
win? Dude, I mean, that is crazy because ultimately, I believe both songs are popular, but bot streams for sure.
Well, a lot of bots are doing it. The problem is with everything, like
the
TV
internet is
ratings.
mostly bots, as they
TV
say,
rate.
like-
What's
Yeah.
that theory? There's some theory that the internet at
Dead
this
internet
point.
theory.
Dead internet
It's
theory.
like-
It's all
yeah,
bots.
It's all bots.
It's also like, look, not to write off my own content, but sometimes I feel like I have to be dealing with bots because I'm
No,
like,
yeah.
no one. The amount of like engagement I get would tell you that I am famous, and yet no one cares about me. But also, I never leave the house. So what the
Yeah,
fuck do I
I
know?
don't
Maybe
think that's
maybe there's
true.
altars being built to me right now.
So true. Maybe people are sacrificing in the name of Robert Schultz.
Perhaps.
Goats, lambs, etc.
Well, my content, it's kind of like if you combine The Greatest Showman with Poopy and Pee.
Right,
And I
right,
kind of bring the best of all worlds together.
But I was saying, what is genius about saying something like Bridgerton meets Greatest Showman is you're taking two like pretty large but still specific audiences, and you're like saying that there's new content for them specifically.
Which is also interesting because neither Bridgerton or The Greatest Showman is a song. Do you know what I mean? It's not even
Right.
like a musical. It's
Right,
style.
like
It's
he
like
marketed his music based on like a vibe, but we
Correct.
said he very directly went for a specific group of theater kids,
And he
Because
really got the theater
and he really
kids.
got them.
and it's funny because those are the same theater kids who, by the way, think that Timothée Chalamet was gonna marry every one of them.
Yeah.
And then he said, "No, I'm for the hots."
And he said, I'm for the hots.
Dude, isn't it crazy the double standard that when Timothy Chalamet dates a hot person, everyone loves it, but when Taylor Swift dates a hot person, everyone kills themselves?
Yeah,
Everyone
so
at
real.
the same time kills themselves?
But they hate Timmy dating Kylie.
They do. They famously do. Because again, they
They
think
think
he's
it's
bewitched by
witchcraft.
Big Boob.
Yeah, they think it's booby witchcraft.
They think when a hot famous guy dates a hot famous woman, they're like, whoa, something's wrong here. Something's gone horribly wrong.
They can't compute it.
Also, she like posted like went to that Knicks game and she posted a photo of her suitcase and it was like a bunch of like orange and blue clothing and there was also like a little orange and blue like lingerie set and they were like, oh, she's so trashy. I
She's
can't
so
believe
trashy.
she would post.
That's
Ew,
so
the orange and
funny.
blue lingerie set. How tacky.
I just feel bad for Timothy. I feel so bad
feel
for him.
so bad.
Yeah.
He's got this trashy witch. Just I feel so bad for him. He's got
Yeah.
and she's gonna be wearing trashy lingerie. I feel so
Yeah.
bad for him.
Because he hates that.
If there's people I feel bad for in the world, it's Timothy Chalamet. End of list.
Yeah,
That's
just Timothy
the
Chalamet.
poor guy.
Well, yeah, he doesn't know.
Well, there is
He's being bewitched
they
by
think
the
they're gonna
boob
come
orbs.
rescue him.
yeah.
Yeah.
And bring him back to like a community
Operation-
theater production of Urinetown where he really belongs.
They
Operation
think
Save
it's she
Timmy.
wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's cheer captain up on the bleachers.
Well, it's more like she wears short skirts, you wear a shirt with his face on it, and you wonder why he's weirded out by that. Dude, there was also a moment. I remember there was like a viral clip because when you're a celebrity at a Knicks game, they'll do a little clip of the thing you're famous for. So they played a clip of Timothy Chalamet from Dune giving like a battle speech, and then it cut to him sitting next to Kylie Jenner, and it is just like you have to feel on some level like, man, just in terms of like boy points, you've really peaked. Like you're living what a 12-year-old boy thinks the coolest life in the world is.
Fantasy
So you think?
fulfillment.
So do you think Timothy Chalamet now has the same effect on boys that like Kylie has on girls?
No,
of the
because
same age?
because famously boys never really claimed Timothy. He was never
Right.
really for the
For the
boys,
boys.
necessarily.
Where he was definitely for the girls.
He was for the girls.
But
That
do
was
you
his
think,
main fan base.
Do you think that tween boys view Timothy as a like role model or influencer? Like in what ways are boys influenced? Like how do you guys engage with like boy influencers? I guess would be my question.
Well,
But also, Robert never counts really in these
I mean,
samples.
yeah,
Well, first of
Let's
all,
be
you're right to come to
honest.
me. I speak for the fellas, for sure.
Like, he's out here getting Greatest Showman.
like wait, but you know what I mean? Like in the same way that like I'm obsessed.
Greatest Showman. It's by the way, it's I don't like the Greatest Showman.
You
I've never
fucking love
seen it. I just know the songs through osmosis because
Then
it's
why
in
do
the
you keep calling
zeitgeist.
it the Greatest Showman? Because even I just know it as the Normal Showman.
Yeah, we just
You're
noticed the
wrong.
normal showman.
Can I not to whatever?
That's the
you
normal
know that.
showman.
Come on, ride the poop wave, surfing in the pee. Come
It's
on,
like,
you know
you've
this
heard
one.
like if I say like from now on,
You-
from now on, from now on, and we will come back home.
He thinks that like we're gaslighting him into like, and we're pretending
I
not to
believe
know
you haven't
these.
heard of it, but it's because you two are like in your own little bubbles.
Okay.
Can I give you some context?
We know Wicked, we know Hamilton.
Yeah, because you're coastal elites. You saw them on Broadway. You're
Okay.
little Broadway elitists.
Whoa.
And me, I'm just amongst the people. I'm like a blue
Whoa.
collar guy. I'm
Dude, he's out with the people singing Greatest
the
Showman.
blue collar,
Blue collar.
the blue collar hard workers like me. We're out there. We're getting dirty. We're rolling up our
Robert's
sleeves.
at
We're
his
listening to the Greatest
construction
Showman.
job singing
Yeah.
Greatest Showman while they work.
What?
Well, does a single construction worker know Greatest Showman? Okay, do you think if we went to a construction site and we asked, do you know Greatest Showman or Hamilton more, what would they say?
They would say I don't get paid enough to do man on the street interviews on the job. What if Eve's like walking the dog and she's walking by a construction site and she just hears like, "This is me. When up, 'cause here I come." And
But
you're
it
gonna
wouldn't
realize
even
you've
register to
always
her
been hearing
because
it.
she never heard Greatest Showman.
But she is now. It'll remind her of
We'll
what
hear
I
it
say.
tomorrow for real.
Yeah.
But that'll be the first time.
That's like,
I will say in terms of like, so by the way, in terms of like going back to the point of like who do like guys, boys like?
Yeah.
I think it's fundamentally a different set of people. I'm not going to count like Andrew Tate or like people who tell you that like.
So Robert just admitted that Andrew Tate is his Kylie Jenner. Noted.
I did not admit that. Also, you can't come at me for loving Greatest Showman and come at me for being like an Andrew Tate
Tad.
Andrew Tate stand.
A tater tot, as they're
A
called.
tater tot. I can't be a Greatest
That's
Showhead
real.
and a
That's so
tater tot.
funny. Right.
I'm neither. I'm normal. But I would say that guys, like in terms of like celebs that are like for the guys, like I think a lot of it, sports in general, like athletes. So there's that. I would say I don't know, man. Who are like actors that like guys really fuck with? I don't even know if guys like movies like that.
It seems like you have no idea what guys like. It seems like I
think
asked you a
guys
question
like
and you really
athletes.
have.
I would say if girls said who are like the girl, like the people you look to as aspirational, girls would be like Kylie Jenner, or they would be like
Wait,
Sydney
is
Sweeney.
Tater Tot for Andrew Tate or Tate McRae?
Both, actually.
They're both Tater Tot?
They're both tater tots.
That's crazy.
Dude, the conventions are so confusing.
That's crazy. They're
Which
both
which
tater
kind of
tot.
tater tot are you? It's kind of wild.
Right, it could go, yeah, you meet a guy and he's like, oh yeah, I'm a tater tot. And you're like,
you're
wait. Honestly, both are bad signs though. Because it's like, if he's an Andrew Tate tater tot, you know, that's its own thing.
Well, who do
but
guys?
if he's like, I love Tate McRae, I'm like,
yeah.
I
it's
think
giving I love Biba Doobie.
I love
giving
Baby
out
Doobie.
Baby Doobie,
Yeah, right.
He's saying that because he's ran through.
Right, because he's
or
ran
he
through.
wants to be.
Or he wants to be. Or he's trying to be Randy.
By the way, Tate McRae is so good a dancer that it looks weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, she's a great dancer, and then I see her and she's just like slithering like a python.
Well, she's like
It's
really
very,
Is that
like,
good
lyric-
dance?
it's very like lyrical, interpretive
Yeah.
dance.
well, it's very like
vibes.
unpleasant to the eye.
It's not like
She's
Charli
very-
D'Amelio
She's very
dancing.
strong and very flexible.
Right.
It's very like she stole an
Well, she-
amulet from a pyramid and she has a curse.
Right.
And these are her movements.
It
Well,
does
she was
seem
on
like
So You
she's
Think You
being
Can-
possessed
Yeah.
when
she was on So You Think You Can
dances.
Dance, and it's very
Yeah.
that style. Like
Yeah.
So You Think You Can Dance dancing. It's very like more like lyrical kind of vibes. Not like I feel like Charli D'Amelio dancing is a little bit more palatable.
Well,
Yeah.
one is like popular dance, and then one
yeah,
is
hers is like technical dance. I
Yes.
guess.
Yeah.
Well,
don't
Tate
know.
McRae did some tie-in song for like the movie F1, and it's just like it'll just cut from footage of a car driving to like her in an empty room, like and I'm like, is this what is this accomplishing? I don't know who is this for.
Let us know if you're a tater tot.
Y'all
the
be like the
Tate McRae
businessmen
version.
love Tate XF1.
Dude, the F1 fans, all F1 drivers listen to Tate McRae sing "Baby Talk" into their ears.
Yeah,
That's also the problem. Is like
the
she
boys
sing
love
like baby.
that. Right.
Okay, because Britney
Famously.
Spears I guess you could say kind of had like sing baby voice, but Tate McRae is like
She takes it to a new level.
I'm fetus.
new level. Yeah,
I'm fully a fetus when I
yeah.
sing.
And I love that for her.
And I love that for her. I would say the guys' role models are like Shane Gillis, Lamar Jackson, and then
Wow.
someone from Barstool whose name is like Tommy Meatcock or
Yeah.
something.
So Shane Gillis.
No,
Tommy
I look
Meatcock,
up to
and Lamar
Tommy
Jackson.
Meatcock a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
He's a great role model.
Okay, it's just interesting. I'm like
I would say if you ask most boys, they would be like, so they would say, I like Shane Gillis, Lamar Jackson, or Bobby Beefcake.
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Hey, what's up?
And you know what? There could be worse role models.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
what's
I think
up?
that-
We're the
I think
Spit
those are all, like,
Boys. They're all
valid.
50.
Okay.
They're wearing like oversized jerseys. Dave Portnoy's firing them every clip. Every clip of Barstool, it's Dave,
Dave
Portnoy
firing someone
firing
and then
another
hiring
employee.
them back immediately.
I'm like, yeah, how are they not out?
He's always firing and then rehiring.
He's
I mean,
always
that's a culture of forgiveness.
Barstool is a culture of forgiveness. He's always like, you're fired. And the ugliest guy I've ever seen. He's like, hey, what? Can't even fucking do nothing no more. And then the next week, Dave's like, yeah, so that guy I fired.
Meat Man is back.
Meat Man's back. We got Meat Man back.
We got
You know, I
Meat
love
Man
Meat
back.
Man. I love Meat Man.
Sometimes we don't see eye to eye, but
I love the guy.
he loves the guy.
Sometimes I don't see eye to eye with Meat Man.
Dude, Dave Portnoy is aspirational. Do guys look up to him?
Here's the thing, no.
Probably.
He's a
No?
media
You don't think so?
mogul.
I don't know if guys look up to Dave Portnoy. I don't think because I think if Dave Portnoy has an appeal, it'd be like dirtbag guys see themselves as him and they want to follow and they want to achieve what he's achieved, but I don't think they want to be him.
That's so interesting.
I don't know. I don't think guys.
So you think guys would like trade places with Shane Gillis? That's what you think?
I think guys think Shane Gillis is funny and cool.
Okay.
I think guys think Lamar Jackson is cool and awesome.
Okay.
I think guys think Bobby Meat Dick is so funny on
Right.
Barstool.
Okay. So you don't think they want to be Dave? I guess that's surprising to me. Like I
Yeah,
would
me
think they
too.
would, but I don't know.
But I guess in the same way that like I don't think girls our age necessarily want to like be Bethany Frankel.
I don't even like. I hear that name all the time, and I still don't know who that is.
I think you might be too young to be in the
Like I know
Bethany.
she's ED coded. I think.
She's not like ED coded. She just has things that are
Oh.
called skinny girl. But I actually
Oh.
don't think her.
I really. This is all like a
mindset
game of
is
telephone to me of
ED.
hearing
Right.
about Bethany Frankel. Like I've never actually seen anything
Well,
from
she's
her
a 54-year-old
personally.
supermodel.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Robert.
So I bet you feel pretty absurd
Yeah.
not knowing about her
Yeah.
now.
Well,
Put
no,
some respect on her
she
name.
She's really interesting. I mean, she's a businesswoman first and foremost. foremost.
Okay.
But she gained notoriety on The Real Housewives of New York. She was like the youngest person on Real Housewives of New York. And she's just like, she's a mogul. She invented the skinny girl margarita. And she's I would say she's a skinny icon. So I guess when you say E decoded, she is a skinny
too far off?
icon.
Okay.
Yeah. But ultimately also she is like an example of a middle-aged woman who doesn't agree that she has to stop living her life because she's older. And she's like one of the oldest, biggest people on TikTok.
Do you have a
people on
disagreement
TikTok.
to make?
Yeah, I just think you should stop living your life when you're older.
Yeah, you should probably just kill yourself.
I think that when you're older, you should like go out into the desert and just kneel
keep
down in
walking.
the
Yeah.
sand, and when you're tired,
It's like
and
in
then
John
fall.
Wick when they're like, in order to meet the like head of the table, you have to keep walking in the desert.
And I think that's
And
what all
and then he walks in the
54-year-old women
desert.
should do.
Is the John Wick walk in the desert?
And then I think all 54-year-old men should do whatever they want.
But John Wick was a 54-year-old man walking in the desert.
Fuck. Well,
We should all be walking in the desert.
We should all be walking
we
in the
could
desert.
all stand to walk in the desert a little bit more, either as John Wick or as a 54-year-old woman.
Dana saying we all need more cardio.
Yeah.
We all need more cardio.
We all need
It
to walk in
rings
the
true.
desert.
Okay, this was another big point of contention, is that we were talking about our zombie apocalypse plans.
First of all, we watched 28 Years Later and we
Yeah.
loved it.
you
Definitely
know what's
go watch
interesting?
it.
People like
recommend
it got bad reviews.
That's
kinda.
crazy.
I thought
Y'all
it got
are
good
nuts.
reviews.
No, Pete got I think it got like a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, which these days is like a bullet to the head.
Well, that just
Oh.
means they didn't pay for reviews.
Yeah, I liked
we
it. I thought it
see
ripped.
all of you
Oh, God.
paying for Rotten Tomatoes reviews.
Again, I love seeing a movie, loving it, and then seeing that actually everyone thinks it's dumb and you're an idiot if you like it. But I really liked
I
it.
famously think Rotten Tomatoes is bullshit because Kissing Booth has a really low score, and that's the
all
greatest
our
movie
favorite
ever
movies
made.
have
all
low
of our favorite
scores.
movies have Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, Agent Cody Banks.
The Greatest Showman has, I think, a pretty low score. Not that I like it.
And then also
Anyway.
stuff that's stupid has like super high ratings.
But
In the zombie apocalypse,
So.
we had some disagreements about who would survive and how.
Well, I think clearly if we're ranking who is most likely to survive, I would rank myself
No.
as the most likely to survive.
I think I am the most likely to survive. I think I have the most main character energy, and therefore I am most likely to survive.
If we were making a movie, you would be the most interesting person to have survived. Do you want to know why? Because you would be the least likely to survive. That's why you would be the main character, is because then really you'd be like, whoa, how's this girl going to survive?
Robert, I am so resilient. You don't even know what I've been
But
through.
it's
and
not like you can
overcome.
survive the zombie apocalypse by believing in yourself.
But you can, Robert. And the fact
No.
that you don't think you could survive by believing in yourself shows that you don't have that in your toolkit.
Okay.
But I have
Can we
self-belief in
just
my
go?
toolkit.
Can we just
in
go
my survival
through?
toolkit.
Can we just go through before we
Yeah.
go poetry mode? Because it seems like you're about to
Before we
break into
go poetry
poetry.
mode.
What poetry mode?
You're about to break into slam poetry.
Robert, I can lift my own body weight, 10 unassisted pull-ups every day, guys. 10 dips unassisted every day. 10
And
legs
zombies
unassisted every
famously
day.
go away once they see
Yeah.
you do 10 unassisted pull-ups.
Yeah.
Well,
They go off.
they're
Fuck.
Now, if you're
and then
doing
they
an
turn
assisted
right.
pull-up, zombies come and get
But
you.
here's the truth. I'm deceptively fast. I can fit in small hiding spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually am very mentally tough, even though it seems
I don't
like I'm not.
disagree with that, but I'm just saying in terms of most likely, if we were just having our average day and zombies attacked, I think I would rank Dana as least likely to survive. I think Eve.
It's fucking average day bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
Eve would
Robert-
for sure. All right, can we just go through?
Yeah,
Eve
yeah.
would for sure not survive. Not because Eve doesn't have the capability, because Eve wouldn't care until it was too late. Eve in the zombie apocalypse, sirens are going off, gunshots are heard, I'm screaming, and Eve's just like making her latte, just like, I'd be like, Eve, we need to run right now. And she'd be like, I'm not going to run because you told me to.
But
bruh.
Eve also has the vibe of someone who, like, the zombie's right behind her, and then she doesn't notice it, and then for some reason the zombie just goes away.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
True.
mean? Like, she has like survivor's
Well,
luck.
the
She has
way
a lucky
Eve would
energy.
survive would be she's so quiet and low key, the zombies don't even perceive her as a
Oh, God.
living organism, and they run by.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I can
God.
absolutely
But
see
then-
that
yeah.
happening.
Why do you always think? Also, again, like I said, when you throw things at me,
Yeah.
you have no authority.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The fact that you will
Why would I
only
catch
react
anything you throw?
You will only react to stimulus if you think it has the authority. That's why you have no reactive instinct.
But also, I don't think the zombie apocalypse is like real. Like, I don't think that there's any. Like, you're out here at, like planning your escape routes and like genuinely being like, what would I do in a zombie apocalypse? And I just like don't like. I'm like, no.
Okay,
like,
Robert,
I don't don't
take us
entertain
through
that.
right now. The
Yes.
zombies come right now.
Well,
What
right now, I think we'd
happens?
all have a pretty good shot because we're all together.
Okay.
So I think we could kind of make it work. Although then again, you and I would start to run, and Eve would just be sitting here and just like, why do you have the authority to tell me to start to run and hide from the zombies? A zombie is breaking in. It's about to like bite Eve's arm. She's like, bruh, who do you think you are?
Yeah, and then they would be like, "Meh," and then they would go away because
What
they'd be like,
would-
who do I
that would
think I
not
am?
happen. No.
Eve would challenge the zombies intellectually.
Also, if you've seen 28 Years Later, they have like these alpha zombies, which are like these massive, like
Yeah.
ultra smart zombies. And Robert was saying that if he was a zombie, he'd be an alpha.
Probably.
And that you just gotta get a kick out of. Like,
Yeah.
you would be an alpha. We looked up the height of the guy who played the alpha,
6'9".
6'9".
But I would be
6'9".
more of an intellectual alpha. But also, it's a moot point because guess what? I'm gonna survive. Sorry,
Right.
and I'm sorry. I
But
don't
also
see
then,
Eve
like,
surviving.
he kept like painting us this picture of
Yeah.
like what his post-apocalypse
So why don't
would
you
look
tell
like.
them?
Well, here's my picture. I do imagine myself probably being the lone survivor of Young Old, and I'm very sad
Lone
about it.
survivor. That literally means you left me to fucking die.
No,
He
also,
left
no,
her
I
to
couldn't
die.
save you.
You're not gonna. No, Robert. I don't need your. Okay, first of all,
She
you-
doesn't need saving,
Okay,
bitch.
first of all, a real man would rise to the occasion and protect his woman.
T.
But
Even
also-
if that meant
even if that meant
self-sacrifice.
self-sacrifice.
Many zombie protagonists are people who couldn't save the person they loved most, and then they have to survive the zombie
But
apocalypse.
like, why is that where
morosely.
you think you fall in?
Morosely.
Also,
I'm
and
sad about it.
we're painting this fantasy picture of what
Like, it
our
could be anything
apocalypse
you
is going
want.
to look like.
You can
and you're
write
like,
it out
I'm alone in
any way
the
you
road.
want.
It's
And
not
you
my
say you're alone
fantasy. It's just how I imagine it going down.
And that's sad.
That is a fantasy.
And
most
that's
likely
sad.
I'm pretty. I am the lone survivor, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't save.
But
I
why
save
couldn't you
Dana.
save her?
Why couldn't you save me?
I don't
what
know.
What did you do wrong?
Well, I often think it's because like you're filming content in the front of the house, and I'm in a different room, and the zombies
You
get
act
you
like
before
you
I even
don't film
know.
content.
Yeah, but I have my head on a swivel.
Stop doing shit! I'm being abused for the second episode in a row.
Okay, you know what? I gotta check it. Can I send a Facebook poke to Eve real
Nope.
quick?
Here's my whole thing. I'm like, I literally think that I am more likely to survive than you, to be honest. And
I don't think you really
I
think
am,
that.
and I do think that.
I'm sorry. It is just like I think that I am the most aware of my surroundings. I'm alert. I also am. I don't have a lot of ego in the sense that like I'm not gonna be like, who do you think you are? I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, they're coming for me. They're coming for the midman, and then I'm gonna hide. And I think I would just get to nature and really hide in nature. I picture myself.
by yourself.
I can get to nature and hide in
I
nature. Also,
picture-
I think I have more nature survival skills than you. I
Maybe
spend
if you
more
get
time
there.
outside. What do you mean if I get
if
there?
you get to that
And
stage.
basically, we came to a stalemate where they were both convinced they would be living alone in the woods, surviving. And I was like, it'll be so funny when you guys are separately living. You come into contact in the woods, and you're like, hey.
Hey, I survived.
I was
you
saying,
didn't think I
Robert
could.
will be morosely living in the woods alone, and
then-
he'll think I'm dead, and I'm gonna come fucking burn down his fucking hut.
But then what? Then we have no hut.
No,
No,
you
I
have no
you
hut.
have no hut.
She's got a
Meanwhile,
hut.
I've found like a community of survivalists that worship me, the DD heads,
Tea.
and we are
Tea.
all.
Well, the other thing we were
freaking
saying is that
thriving.
if we're like all the three of us are running, and
Yeah.
we get the sense that Robert is like gonna leave us behind because he thinks that we
can't
we're a
survive.
lost cause
We're gonna
anyways.
sacrifice him.
We're going to
For
throw
our
him
own
to the
survival.
zombies to give us extra
Let
time.
me paint that picture. We're all running as a group. I
Yeah.
have made no move to betray them. They both get the sense that I'm kind of pulling away.
Well,
they're gonna
why do
kill
you think we
me.
would get the sense? Because you're talking about how we're such lost causes. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to be alone and
I'm
morose
gonna do
anyway.
everything I can to save you. I said that in this scenario, the zombies are coming. What I do is I verbally alert Eve
But
so I
it's
can
always
check that
everything
box.
I can, as if there's a certain inevitability. Like,
With you, it's inevitable. With you,
but
no
even
survival
with Dana,
instinct.
you still don't think Dana's going to be in the picture
no,
either.
I think Dana could be. I think I'm gonna do everything I can
but
to
you
keep Dana in
don't.
the
You,
picture.
every time you talked about it, you're like, I'm alone in the woods.
And I'm morose. I'm morose. I'm not
no one
happy
cares about
it.
your morose.
I don't care about your emotional state.
I don't imagine myself being happy-go-lucky. I'm like, oh, I couldn't save Dana. Oh God. And then I get a chance for redemption. Like I meet someone else in the apocalypse. Like, oh, I saved them in a way I couldn't save
Is she
Dana.
hot?
Dude, that's
No,
you.
no,
don't
she's
say that.
she's ugly.
Don't say that.
She's disgusting. But also, or he could be like an old
Okay.
man. And I'm like, I'm here to save you, sir. I'm morose. You're acting like I'm happy you died in the zombie apocalypse.
Say you will take no lovers after I die. Say it.
Well, in this, What? No
Well, only because you
lovers.
think she's dead. 'Cause she's not dead.
I'm not dead.
She's alive.
I'm gonna come burn down your hut.
I'm not okay. I won't take a lover. Is there like an amount of time?
Until death do us part.
Assuming the apocalypse comes soon, we will be unwed.
What do you mean? Assuming the apocalypse comes in, will you be
Like
unwed?
before the wedding.
Well, if the zombie apocalypse comes before the wedding, you know what I mean.
If
I
the
don't
zombie
think I'll
apocalypse
take
comes
lovers.
before the wedding, then
Here's what else I'll say in the zombie apocalypse scenario. If we both survive the initial wave, I could see Dana becoming the head of some sort of new religion in the wasteland, and I could see myself becoming a sex prisoner to like a gang of cannibals. So I could see myself not doing well in the aftermath. But yes, in
Your
terms of
fantasies are
these aren't fantasies. These are
they
likelihoods.
Robert. No,
These are just
no.
what could happen.
What you think is likely is because
That's
it's based
a
on what you
fantasy.
want.
I'm
It
gaming out the most likely scenario.
Robert, our-
Eve
our
dead.
thoughts create
you
our
maybe
reality.
survive, probably dead. Me
your
survive, but
fantasy
morose.
is that you're a cannibal group sex person.
No, it's not my fantasy.
we're
It's
both
what I
dead.
imagine as being. It's a likely scenario because I don't do well in groups, and I really do rely on like systems to kind of keep everything in line. I don't think so. I'm not saying like, oh, I would crush it. I'm saying I think I would survive the initial event easier than either of the two of you. Obviously, Eve, it's kind of a non-starter. You would not even try
I
to
think
survive.
I would survive the initial event swimmingly.
I just like I don't really think about it either way. Cause
But
I'm
that's
like,
why you would die.
It's not.
But I disagree.
not
I don't think
happening.
just because you haven't gamed out an unlikely scenario that means
But-
that you're unlikely to survive the
No,
scenario.
but I think in Eve's case, she hasn't gained it out, and also she has terrible reflexes, as we've shown. She also
She
has.
has no terrible reflexes. She just doesn't
I
acknowledge
don't
your
think- I
authority.
don't
to
acknowledge
test
your
her.
authority.
Then what's a reflex? If you're like,
I don't
if
acknowledge your
you're not
authority.
using your reflexes to prove a
Like,
point,
okay, for instance,
that counts as having terrible
when
reflexes.
Edward saves Bella from the car and
Yeah.
she's like, your reflex, like I wouldn't care enough to save you from the car, so then I would, but doesn't mean I don't have Edward's reflexes.
But okay, you're
That
gonna
just means I didn't want to save you from the car.
You're
It's
getting-
like if Bella was busted, and you think Edward would?
again, when I say I think I would survive the initial event, it's not ego talking. You know what I'm saying? I just think like I think I would have the best likelihood to survive. I pay the most attention to my surroundings. I'm always like thinking.
But it's like you have enough
escape routes.
ego to think you would survive, but not enough ego to think you could save
To me, I
others.
think almost
I
like
would be
your
morose.
arrogance, the fact that you have this arrogance and you've already like plotted out scenarios means to me that you're not anticipating the unpredictable, which
I would be overjoyed if you survived.
but here's my thing. I'm like so adaptable. I have survived a myriad of circumstances
Well,
that you would think
But
would
let
be
me be
unlikely
clear:
for me
if we
to
were
get through.
together, I think you and I would both survive. And I also think you and I as a unit would have a great
I
time in
think
the
you
apocalypse.
would have a way better chance of surviving if I was there.
Dave
I
was
feel
like,
the same.
when I was 8, I scored the highest in the zombie apocalypse simulation. And my dad said, what? And he did the same simulation and he scored worse than me. And our relationship was never the same. And all the girls' moms in the class were jealous because they knew that I would survive more in the zombie apocalypse. And their husbands knew it too. So.
Literally, all of my friends' moms, they knew that I could survive the zombie apocalypse better than them, and they would never let me forget it. And that's why they had their daughters stop hanging out with me, because they knew if there was an apocalypse, their daughters would die and I would live.
See, it's like you guys make fun of me for this all the time. If you don't know Young Old Teenagers,
They know. They know.
Look, I think that we would survive and you would die because you're too
Eve,
freaking
you would
cocky.
not
Yeah, I think you're real
survive.
cocky.
How would Eve survive?
Because Eve survives.
No
That's what she
instincts,
does.
no reaction.
Period.
Also,
Also, again,
unaware of
the
a
dog
stimulus.
don't believe
A
in
zombie could be
this.
running up on Eve, would not even perceive it was there, and then if it was biting her, it would take her 10 seconds just to be annoyed. Eve is the person who walked into the wrong locker room, saw a naked man, and didn't even leave then. So Eve could walk into a room filled
You
with
know what,
zombies and
Eve?
just be like, huh.
Dude, that
And
actually
then
is
just keep
tea.
walking through.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't really care because, like, I don't believe in the zombie apocalypse. But I do think if you're, like, making up fake scenarios and your fake scenario is that Dana dies and you're a sex prisoner, like, I'm like, that's
It's not,
crazy.
it's not what I want
That's
to happen.
crazy that
It's
that's your
possible
fantasy.
likelihoods.
It's likely.
But I'm just like, that's
possible.
where your brain goes when you're like, zombie apocalypse. You're like, Dana's dead and I'm a sex prisoner. Really?
I'm not excited about it. I hope it doesn't happen. It might, though. again, like if I run into like a gang of survivors, I don't think they'd like me, and I think whatever they're doing, like I would probably be like on the negative end of it.
I think if I ran into a gang of survivors, they wouldn't like me at first.
I think they'd grow to like you. That's
But
what I
they
mean.
would grow
You
to
would
like me.
you would thrive socially after the breakdown of society, and I would
do
not.
think that's true. I've always
I think
thought
you
that.
would.
I mean, I told you this, but a big part of the reason I got off my meds was because, for many reasons, I didn't really need to be
Oh,
on them
'cause
anymore.
apocalypse
But I
vibes.
was, well, because I always pictured, okay, there's a zombie outbreak. What, the first thing I have to do is find a pharmacy and get my
Tea.
Wellbutrin? Like, that to me makes it seem like I would have less likelihood of surviving, which is also why I was so pissed off that Robert didn't think I would survive, because I'm like, I've already taken so many steps to make sure that I'd be more equipped to survive. Like, I'm in way better shape. I can lift my own body weight. I can like run a couple
I don't think it's a
miles
physical
easily.
limitation.
And I don't need medication. And I'm like, to me, I'm like, those
Well, but again,
things
it's like Eve.
make
It's like
me a good candidate
Eve
to
goes to a ton of
survive.
workout classes. Eve would have no problem like physically like surviving, but it's mentally Eve wouldn't want to bother herself to take the apocalypse seriously until it was too late.
But mentally, I'm totally prepared to take it seriously.
I think okay. You know what? I think you're
Like-
talking. You and I would hope would both survive,
Hope.
and I think we'd have a great
I
time.
would try my
to me, I'm
best.
like,
I would
again,
do everything in
When-
my power.
It's just like when you talk like this, it's like, why would I want to try to survive with you when you have such a negative outlook on my survival
No.
chances?
I don't have a negative outlook.
Why-
I would do everything in my power to save you.
You always, and then also it's always like you being so pleasantly surprised at the huge shock that she's made it.
You and I both survive, and you just get pissed at me anyway because you can tell from my tone that I'm surprised.
You're like, I'm
you'll-
so glad this is crazy.
Whoa, you made
it's
it.
crazy that we're both here. And
you're
you're
like,
like,
"What do you
no,
mean?
it's not.
Is
Why is it crazy?
I saw this coming. All my friends' moms in San Diego knew this would happen to me. That's why they didn't let their daughters go on playdates with me anymore. Also, because I was smarter than their husbands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Eva's also no fun with these hypotheticals because she always says stuff like, well, the zombie apocalypse isn't real, so.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, actually, do you know zombies
Sorry,
aren't
I'm
going to happen?
realistic. Sorry, I'm not. You like sent a photo of the gym today, and you're like, jump over the stairwell, smash the glass, swing under the pull-up bars,
Yeah.
crawl towards the exit. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's survival. Meanwhile, you're just like, huh, bruh. Zombies come, you have no plan. You have no
Okay.
exit
I mean, I
route.
have plans for like if a random man attacks me, but
What's your
that's
plan if a random man attacks you?
usually like either key or water bottle or poop bag if I'm on the walk. I always think
Poop
I'll
bag is
shove.
so
I'll smear the
good.
poop.
That's actually good. It's almost like a bear spray.
Yeah.
I'll smear the poop on his face.
Smear the poop.
And he'll be like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, people
What
always
the
talk
fuck?
about this, but like if you're
But
walking,
zombies kind of love poop.
Right. But that's I'm thinking about realistic
men.
shit. Things
Yeah.
that could happen for real. I don't believe in this nonsense.
But it is.
But don't you think that like sometimes there's logical explanations for how zombie outbreaks occur?
No.
Like in 28 years later, it's
No.
it's called rage virus.
Right.
Couldn't you see a rage virus?
No.
Eva's
No.
also, we would play this game where I'd be like, okay, where would you sleep if you were homeless? If you had to sleep, you couldn't go home. Where would you sleep if you were homeless? And he would be like, I would have my mom buy me a hotel room. I'm like, all right, fun answer. Fun
Robert
answer.
would sleep on the ceiling
The
of
roof of the
roof
Grove.
of the Grove.
Because there's a place you can kind of climb off the stairwell, the parking structure, and I would sleep on the roof of the Grove.
Just like your fantasies for yourself.
It's not a fantasy. I think that's also, it's like, I'm not fantasizing about being unhoused. I'm just saying, like, man, okay,
But you
gaming it
are.
out.
You're going. Yeah, that's my plan, and you're happy about it. That's a fantasy.
Yeah,
No,
saying
it's
that's my plan and being happy about it is a
fantasy.
fantasy.
It's
Saying
not
my
a
plan,
fantasy.
my
I'm
plan
gonna
is to
be
be a group of
alone and
survivors
morose.
and being captured and
That's
used
your
for my body.
fantasy.
That's your fantasy.
No, that's definitely not my fantasy. It's just
It
like, oh
is.
man, like that is a possible likely scenario. If we're taking the rules of the game seriously.
Okay.
Well, I think a possible likely scenario in my possible likely scenario is that we all survive and we just batter down the hatches of this house and we survive
here's
in
the thing.
here.
Here's the
like
thing.
I
If
genuinely
that
think
is
that.
a great. I also think about that. We barricade everything and we're fine in here. And that is,
Yeah.
by the way, a likely scenario that would keep Eve alive, which again is a rare outcome.
Okay.
You know it's rare.
Whatever. I just.
But I think it would
throwing
No
shit at me.
reaction.
I literally think we would survive.
Nothing.
Also, because we have
I'm creating a
Nothing.
young old snark today, and I'm saying the way that Chubbs throws things at Eve is not okay.
It is. It
That
is.
is abuse.
Eve is being
and she's being
abused.
poked
A
and things are being
little
thrown
right
at her.
there.
That is not okay.
and then they call me an enabler and pick me.
yeah, I'm literally doing that right now.
But again, you know
I
what?
think we would survive if we were here because we also have a fruit tree. So even if we ran out of food, like we could like plan little
And
sneak
yeah,
outs
we
to the
have a
fruit
little
tree.
protein pack right there.
No.
See, and then also he was like simulating zombie attack.
He literally
And
jumped on Biter and like almost like tried to bite Biter's neck.
And I know Biden
like
was
Robert
like,
was wildin' last
he was
night.
probably just confused as to, he's like, Daddy's petting me?
Yeah.
But that's why Biter would get
But-
bit right away. Biter would not survive because Biter loves strangers.
No, but like, I would protect Biter with my leg.
so
he
if a
would
zombie
survive.
came for Biter first, that would force you to lock in. But if a zombie came for you first, you'd be like, bro, I don't care.
I just like, I don't believe in any of this nonsense.
Also, I like how you're like, I don't believe in any of this
But it's
nonsense,
like,
but
if
you
you're-
watch 10 seasons of like Once Upon a
Yeah,
Time.
there's no one
where
who
like
likes-
Snow White is a karate
It's fun,
instructor.
it's TV nonsense. I'm like, yeah, this is not real.
But like, do you never think about like, oh, what would I be doing if I was in Once Upon a Time world?
No.
Do you never, when you watch Harry Potter as a kid, were you never like, oh, I wonder what house I would be in?
Well, everybody's like, just their house.
But Harry
Yeah.
Potter's
But
not
it's
real.
like,
But it's not real. It would never happen. I don't believe in it.
but if you're like, what would you do if Voldemort was coming for you? I'd be like, fuck off, bro.
I always thought about how I would have a pink broom and I'd be really good at Quidditch.
I always thought
I know
about
the girls in the Gryffindor house are so jealous of me. Or no, you're a Ravenclaw.
I'm
Dude.
probably a Ravenclaw.
I always thought about how like all the Death Eaters would probably just make me their sex prisoner.
Dude, see, it's like that you can't say it's not a
What?
fantasy when in every world you're a sex
What?
prisoner.
It's again, I'm morose. I'm really morose.
It seems like that's part of it for
I'm
you.
being
It
fricked in
seems
the
like
rump by
being
Lucius Malfoy.
right. It
and
seems like
that's
being
just how
morose
it
is part of
is.
the thrill for you.
Well, okay, I will say in the zombie
Which is
apocalypse
also weird because
scenario,
you're not a morose person at all.
but in the apocalypse
But you love
happened,
the
I
fantasy
couldn't
of you
save
being
you.
morose. You love the fantasy.
I couldn't save you.
And it
Okay, to
is
me,
a
also just the fact
fantasy.
that you're never morose, I call into question: would you be morose? Like you kind
No,
of
see,
have
I
a-
said he'd be very like, "Meh, told her so. Told her so. I knew I'd survive and be morose. So
I would be morose about you. I say I'd be told her so about. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I knew it.
yeah, you'd be like, I knew it.
But I even think, but now that we've had this whole scenario, now you're in the woods and you're morose. But then once you realize I'm in the woods and I'm morose, therefore I was right. Then you're gleeful.
Well, no, I also
Because
don't like to
you-
be outdoors. Again, like I don't think I would do well in the aftermath, but I think the initial event I would kind of thrive.
I think that you would need me to survive the aftermath.
Well, I would need you to want to survive the aftermath. I think that's real because I would be so morose without you.
Also, like the way that they're envisioning these different things. Like Robert's like, I'm pulling you up onto a platform. Dana's like, I'm pulling you up onto the platform.
I'm like, I'm fighting off the zombies, and you're like, actually, I'm fighting off all the zombies. I'm a really good fighter. I'll fight the zombies.
I am a good fighter. And I have a lot of rage, and my rage is a gift. And I finally harnessed it. I haven't had a tantrum in a really long time.
So it's just waiting for the zombie apocalypse for you to go berserker
yeah,
mode.
and
I
you
kinda
know I
low-key
couldn't
like
go
that.
berserker mode.
I kind of like going
You've
berserker
seen me
mode. on it.
berserker.
Yeah, I've seen you berserker, and you're look at that flower crown. You never guess the girl in the flower crown can go berserker mode
But
on
she
him.
goes berserker mode on him.
Berserker
but he'd
mode.
be so shocked and thrilled if you survived.
I'd be like, wow, and you'd be like, what do you mean, wow? No, I'm just saying, wow, we survived. But why are you saying, wow, like I survived? Like, why are you surprised? I'm like, well,
gonna burn
but I
your
was
hut
saying there's
down.
also a scenario where Dana and I survive and it's like a bloody, like it's a horrible ordeal. And then like 5 years later, we somehow come back to this house and Eve is somehow still just like sitting on the couch eating her brekkie and she doesn't
Yeah.
even notice an apocalypse has happened.
Period.
And she's like,
Because
what?
I don't let that negative.
And then we're
let
like,
that
and we're like,
negative
"Eve, the
stuff.
zombie apocalypse happened. And you're like, I don't believe in that, bro.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
it
know. I'm
literally
like,
has
that's
happened
a
for real.
hoax. That's a hoax.
Like it's been 5 years. You're like,
Yeah.
That's not real.
Like, do you never when you're like watching Supernatural, you're never like, what would I be like if I were along for the ride? No. When you watch Vampire
I'm a
Diaries, you're not like, who would
watcher.
I
I'm
be?
not like I'm not a your name.
What's your name?
Your name is what they would do in like Wattpad fanfics, like so you could pretend that you're being One Direction is your new owners. It'd be like, come down Y/N. So you could be like, come down Eve. One Direction is your new owners.
but you don't like that.
No, I don't. I
You-
want.
you want
I
it to be
wanna
like a fae.
I'm a voyeur. I want to be
Got
watching
it.
somebody.
okay.
It's not
you.
me.
You don't want to be experiencing it.
Dude, I
I'm
just-
actually low-key. I think I have a similar thing where I don't like to imagine myself in scenarios. Really.
I love to imagine myself in scenarios.
Well,
so it's-
but I think that actually, dare I say, that might have to do with the fact that like because you are like average white guy, the world is more tailored toward like this is a POV for you.
well, I'm seeing constant POVs. Like,
Right.
everything could be a
Everything
fill-in.
could be a fill-in.
I'm like one step away from like
Right.
any like
Whereas,
a
like,
person in any piece of
even
media.
I don't fit a lot of like standard protagonist descriptions.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
I mean, maybe that is. I assume
I
that
don't
is a
know.
function of it. Dude, I just know that if I'm at One Direction, they'd make me their sex prisoner. And I'd be so morose.
And you go, it's not a fantasy. It's not a fantasy.
It's Eve finds my fan fiction about being One Direction sex prisoner. I'm like, it's not a fantasy. These are just plans. These are just potential outcomes. I've got so many thousands
It's like
of
a
pages.
likely possibility.
I have to prepare myself. What if Harry Styles wants to fuck me, Eve? I have to know. I'm shaking papers.
What if my parents need money to fix their house and how they get it is selling me to Zayn Malik?
I'm like, I like it. I
happens.
hand my dad a briefcase full of money, and I'm like, Dad, fix the house. And he's like, Whoa, how'd you do this? And I was like, Well, Dad, One Direction fucked me as their sex prisoner. And he's like, All right, I'll just get a new house.
Niall rod my arse till I bled. Your dad's like,
Whoa. And my dad's like, What? My dad's like, What? And I'm like, I was morose, Dad.
I'm morose.
I'm morose.
I'm morose.
I do think that's actually a core part of a lot of fantasies, though, is that the person is sad about this thing that's happening to them. Because
Yeah.
the whole
Right.
thing is like, you
Well,
want,
One Direction
like,
is
you
your
want
owners
this
is,
sick-
like-
That's why your thing is so clearly a fantasy where you're alone.
Right.
And,
No,
like,
it is a
and
fantasy.
morose,
It's such a
because
fantasy.
It's like,
No.
it's like in order to not,
It's
in order
your
to not
fan
fully
fiction.
admit that it's a fantasy, you have to
be
say,
sad.
I'm
Well,
morose.
I just feel like it becomes a fantasy if I'm like, I'm having a ball, but I'm morose. But I won't be having a ball.
To me, the fact that you're morose is a tell that it's not just like an outcome. Because here's my real thing. If that was just the outcome, if the outcome was you couldn't save me and you're in the woods, here's the reality. I don't think you would be morose. I think you would be like, wow, that sucks. Like, but I gotta move on. She couldn't make it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that
Because
I'm
in all
planning
these
to
stories,
be
like
morose,
the
it's
Walter
like,
boys, she has to go live in the Frick house because her family died. But it's like that is the allure of the story.
I will say
You are
sidebar
painting
that
this like
that is what makes Harry Potter so cool. Is he's just like, oh, this rips. He has exactly the right reaction. He's like, oh, this is clearly better.
Yeah, he's like,
Everyone
I'm glad
else.
I'm a wizard. Thank
well,
God.
they do reverse. Usually, it's like good life goes to seemingly bad life, but his is bad life goes to good life.
Yeah, and he loves it.
I also love that. I love that you live the first 11 years of your life in fucking total misery, and then suddenly one day everything is good.
Because the Shire, it's like
that's
Frodo's in
sick.
good life and he goes to bad life.
Right.
Harry, it's as if Harry Potter grew up in Mordor and then walked to the Shire. And I was like, this
Yeah,
rips.
this was like awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like before P.T. Barnum started Hit the Greatest Show. And I only know that from the Zeitgeist.
Oh my god.
Dude, I just know that if I was in P.T. Barnum's circus, they would all
You'd
make
be
me
a
their
sex slave and you'd be
I'd be
morose.
so morose. This is me. Look out, cause here or need a copyright strike. Here I come.
Poop and pee.
and
Look
pee.
out, because here's my poo.
But again, I'm gonna say it's like that is no more cringe or weird or dare I say theater kid gay boy to use your turn of
Alexander
phrase
Hamilton.
than to be like
We just wouldn't
Alexander
know. We just
Hamilton.
wouldn't know because we don't know that. We don't know what that is.
But that's your blind spot, not my weird fandom. That's your guys not being educated. You need to pick up The Greatest Showman. Or you need to just go to whatever streaming platform it's on and educate yourselves.
Well, we'll educate.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll hear the
songs.
songs.
Dude. A Soul Cycle. I am interested to see what kind of crowd turns out for this one.
you know.
I feel like I get a
It's
just a
Hamilton
look
Greatest
around.
They all
Showman.
hate
Because
Kylie Jenner.
It says
I do think
they
they're
all hate Kylie. They all think Timothy needs to be with
They
an
all
art
think-
girl
I
like
hope
them.
at least one person is wearing Alex Warren merch.
Oh, for Greatest Showman.
Yeah, for the Greatest Showman.
You know what else?
Perhaps.
You know what else Alex Warren is doing? He's also making his songs tie into like book talk. So he's picking up like ACOTAR and shit
Yeah.
like that. And he's like,
I hate
oh man,
that.
this
I hate
song is
that.
so I don't know, Fey man coded.
Yeah,
I hate
the song is
that.
something
Do you
that.
like when you read ACOTAR? You don't imagine like what if I was in this scenario?
No.
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 I don't imagine that. I watch we all watch like the X-Men. I'm like, oh, I wonder what powers you would have, and you're like, I wouldn't have any. I'm not one of the X-Men. Only the X-Men have powers.
Yeah,
I don't have powers.
You don't have any stand-ins. You wouldn't want to be any of the X-Men.
Well, if you're like, hey, if you were to choose an X-Men to be, who would you be? Like, I
Yeah.
can select one. But it's like, if you're like, oh, while you're watching it, are you picturing yourself? I'm like, no.
Okay,
just
but,
watch
okay, but
it.
if
Literally,
you're
I'm
watching,
picturing
when you were
myself in these
watching Shake It
scenarios.
Up, I know you were picturing yourself as Brocky or Cece.
I guess that is more realist. But maybe it's just because I'm a realist. Maybe it's just because I'm like, that it takes
Every
place in the real world.
Every show you watch, as you said, has a magic beam. So you love shit that's magic beam.
Yeah, but Shake It Up is in the real world. So maybe I would be more like, but it's not even that I was like, I am Rocky and Cece. It's like, oh, I want to wear what they're wearing and
I
act
think that's
like
part of it.
them.
Like, when
but
I
it's not
watch-
like I am Rocky or Cece.
When I watch-
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you want to take inspiration from the characters and apply it to your own life.
But I guess when I watch Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, I'm obviously like imagining myself as like, what if I lived in a suite in a hotel? That
Right.
would be something. What if I was doing this?
Yeah.
Like, did you not have that kind of wish fulfillment?
Well, like when I watched Sweet Life of Cody,
No, I'm
I
just
literally
like,
was
oh,
like, I would
that's
be like
cool.
London Tipton.
I'm just like, that's cool. I like this show. I'm not like I'm gonna do that. I'm not
I like
I'm
this
not
show.
like that.
I'm enjoying this program.
Yeah.
Someone's like, "Oh man, it'd be so fun to live in a hotel," and you'd be like, "No, that's for Zach and Cody. Hotels aren't houses. Only for Zach and Cody."
I'm just like, oh, that's so cool that they live there.
But you wouldn't. You were
I'm
never
not like,
were like,
oh, I'm
what
gonna
if I
live
lived
there. No.
what's a thing like girls like? What's like a movie or a show that girls like? Like
Like in Kissing Booth, you never. And I guess that's a bad example because
you never want to be Joey King. You never want
I don't want to be.
You never want Noah to take you to the Hollywood sign in the
Yeah.
middle of the night to take you to his
And
gazebo
frick
where he
you.
brings all the girls.
And then you got eaten by coyotes.
Gazebo. No, that's like I'm just not thinking about that. Like I'm just watching it and just taking it in. Like
So
I'm
when
not
Noah-
like thinking about
when Noah-
myself.
when Noah says-
it's escapism. So why am I thinking about me?
In Kissing Booth, when Noah slams his hand on the car hood and says, "Get in the car, Elle," you're not hearing, "Get in the car, Eve."
yeah,
Get in the car,
I'm
Eve
just like I'm
Donnelly.
just sitting there like cackling and enjoying the show. Like I'm not like
Remember in Kiss-
I'm like that's hilarious that he slammed the car and said get in the car
Right,
out.
right.
Remember when Lee was like, "Just so long as you're not bumping uglies with,
With my brother.
and I'm like, "Lee,
No, it's bumping coochies.
was it bumping coochies?"
Yeah, I think so.
Crazy.
Joey King's like, "Hey, so weird. I made out with your brother in the kissing booth." Well,
No,
as
grinding coochies. It was grinding
Well, as long
coochies.
as you're not grinding coochies with my brother. Well, that should have been the sequel. It should have been called Grinding Coochie Booth.
Dude,
Where
coochie
they
booth.
grind coochies.
The coochie booth.
The coochie
Get in the
booth.
coochie booth, hell.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like I'm just watching things and I'm reading things. I'm not like thinking about myself in
I'm
them.
constantly
like
putting
I
myself in
am
them.
removed. I'm completely removed.
Like when we're
from the
watching 28,
scenario.
28
guess,
years
like,
later
yeah.
and they're going out beyond and they have like the archeries and they're shooting the arrows. To me, I'm imagining myself on the UK mainland shooting arrows.
I'm just not self-centered like that.
All right, well, I guess you're really selfless.
Yeah.
You never imagined yourself. You said once upon a time, that's for the Little Mermaid to sell lockets she
I'm just
forged.
immersed in the world and I'm not thinking like I don't exist as a person anymore.
Right. Like
Do
the
you know what I
world is
mean?
the world.
There
and
is
The
no
world is
Eve.
the world. That I
Eve
don't
is void.
exist.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just purely
But
observing.
in order to like want to exist in the world, you have to like the world. In order to like the world, you have to have a point of view on the world. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm just telling you how I consume things.
Yeah,
I'm never
no, I
putting
understand.
myself in
Fascinating.
there. I just
it
am
is.
not.
It's interesting.
You're not like a big like which character am I? You're like these characters are who they are, and I am merely an
Yeah.
observer. I am a watcher. I'm a voyeur.
Unless it's like are you're asking me like, are you a Carrie or a Samantha or a Charlotte? Like, you know, if you're
Right.
asking me to think about it, then like, okay, but like while I'm watching it, that's not what I'm thinking about.
Dude, by the way, Dana and I watched like Sex in the City, like the original show.
Yeah.
So good. Classic
Yeah.
show. And we jumped from that to And Just Like That. And it's just like such whiplash. You're like, what happened?
It is really crazy.
It is just like someone took a
I've never
funhouse
seen
mirror.
it just like that.
it is so bad. It's
It's
good.
also just interesting because I'm like, it none of it is the same, and yet they're saying it's the same. Like that's what's so weird.
They're saying
it's like
this
the
is the
filming
same
style's
character.
different. Like everything is different.
Is
but
it
they're
like
saying that
wokeified
it's-
or not?
Here's the
I
thing,
don't
it
even-
tries to be
Yeah, I
wokeified.
don't
It
think they know
comes
what
all the
woke
way
is.
back around.
It's really interesting when people who don't know what woke is try to be woke. And you are just watching it and you're like, oh, you don't know, you have no idea what you're supposed to be saying, but you know that you're supposed to be saying something, and so that's what you're saying instead of what you just want to say.
It goes beyond any sort of like measurement or like standard discourse. You're truly watching, like, I've never seen anything quite like this before. It's truly wild.
fascinating. I mean, I think as a study, it is wild.
Also, you can't say Sex in the City went woke. The original show is incredibly progressive with kind of
Yeah.
great representation throughout.
It is.
The
yeah.
new show is just like, it is just like we're in Alice in Wonderland-ified Sex in the City. It's
I
like
also think
everything's
it's so
crazy.
interesting
And
because we're watching, Robert and I always talk about this, but we're watching this generation of celebrities, like iconic celebrities that we all love, be gaslit into apologizing for their problematic pasts,
Well-
which aren't really even problematic. And we're basically watching a bunch of like, you know, iconic 40, 50 somethings who like made Hollywood as we know it today say that they wish they hadn't done the things that made it so we know who they are.
Well, also I saw Sarah Jessica Parker in an interview like defending Carrie Bradshaw, and she said basically like, oh, what? People will like men on TV when they're murderers, but they all hate Carrie. I'm like,
we
no one
don't
hates
hate
Carrie.
Carrie.
Carrie is one of
We
the most
love
beloved
Carrie.
characters ever. Carrie
I
is
don't
one of
know,
the most...
low key on TikTok. Well, the chronically online losers do be judging Carrie, like that TikTok you sent us that was like
Yeah.
how
you guys
people
wanted
on the
Carrie.
internet want Carrie to behave, and it's like I was gonna go shopping, but then I realized I should be more financially responsible, and then I broke up with Mr. Big because we're in a toxic relationship.
But I think that's a key. That's a key misinterpretation people have. Where like Sarah Jessica Parker or the Sex and the City showrunners will see people online making jokes about Carrie and think, oh no, people hate Carrie. No, they're making jokes because they love Carrie. Because like, haha, Carrie's so crazy. Haha, Carrie's so entertaining. If they didn't like Carrie, they wouldn't be making these viral memes and TikToks about Carrie's behavior.
But you have to read between the lines. Just because somebody's like, oh, Carrie's such an annoying character, that really means she has a thing and I like her.
Yeah, when did we become so literal? That's also where I always get confused. Where I'm like, no. There's always been so many layers of like, dude, if I say another girl is ugly, you can assume that it's because I'm jealous of her. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right. It's
people
always
don't
about
say
reading the
criticisms in a
subtext.
vacuum. And I'm very confused as to when everyone started forgetting that there's reasons why people say things that are not on the surface.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Again, where is our, I would say not even media literacy, our literacy. We've literally all forgotten how to read.
It's like all three of us made that observation about, haha, it's creepy that Tony Stark, when he met with Peter Parker, locked the bedroom door. We only said that because we watched at that point 17 Marvel movies,
Right.
and we're fans of the characters and the lore.
Like, we're so in.
Marvel would be making a mistake if they watched that podcast clip and thought, oh, Tony Stark is a pedophile.
Yeah,
We have to
or
address
in
this.
the next movie, they have like a whole like little monologue about how like, you know, men really shouldn't be closing doors.
We have Aunt May slap Tony Stark in the face, and she goes, what are you doing to my boy, you pig? You fucking
love
pig.
that.
We don't
I would
want
love that.
We want Tony Stark to behave as Tony Stark is behaving.
We want Tony
and then we
Stark
want to comment on
to,
it.
to
Like,
walk into a teenage boy's bedroom, lock the door, and whatever happens, that's
Whatever
Iron
happens,
Man.
happens.
Let him do what he wants. I'm joking.
But I
and
do love a
if
version
Iron
where
Man
she slaps
kidnaps
him.
Robert and makes him a sex slave.
No,
super
I'd be so
morose.
morose about that, Dane. I'd be morose.
But he did everything he could to not end up in that situation, even though it
Did
seems like
everything I
he's
could.
always ending up in that situation.
Oh God, I've written
Also,
so
it's
many
just-
pages
it
about
says so
that.
much about your lack of faith in yourself that no matter how you structure the situation,
You're
it ends up
always
with
a
you
sex
as
slave.
a sex slave.
I'm a roast sex slave.
I'm morose. I'm not happy about it. Oh, my fiance is dead, and I'm a sex slave, and I'm not happy about that outcome. Oh, so all right, we watched And Just Like That. And in Just Like That, they immediately tell you, hey, just so you know, Miranda is a closeted lesbian who's more than a little racist. And then you watch the original Sex and the City, and I'm going to say it. No, she's not.
No, she's not.
I'm watching Sex and the City, and I'm like, this Miranda is not a closeted lesbian who's more than a little racist. That's just not. Like,
It's not true.
it's not true. Or if she is a little racist, it's with like the implicit biases that like, you know, a normal person would struggle with. They literally, and Just Like That opens with Miranda literally having a seizure every time she sees a person of color. And I'm like, that's not true. That is not true. I feel like Eve with the zombie apocalypse, but like just during And Just Like That, I'm like, not true. This is not what happened. This is not real. I watched the original Sex and the City. I'm like, this is real.
Yeah.
This is real life.
Yeah. No, and Just Like That feels like a zombie apocalypse.
It is.
It literally feels
And
like
Just Like That is less
feels
of
like
a
a different
departure.
genre of
It's less
TV.
of a departure than if a zombie apocalypse just happened to the Sex and the City girls.
Well, I do think I think we're entering an era. I haven't heard any scholars talk about this, but I think we're entering an era of what I would call post-woke TV, which is TV, or maybe I would call it Twitter-driven TV. Like where we're watching TV written by people who are letting online trolls dictate their art.
Right, and it's like they don't realize that that's literally 10 people.
Like it used to be life imitating art, imitating life, and now we always talk about it's art imitating
Twitter
reacting
to art, imitating
and
life.
imitating life.
We're so many steps
like,
removed.
yeah, and that's also why it's really bad and no one likes it.
Yeah.
And no one will ever admit that that's true, but I know it's true.
The crazy thing about all these shows is they do their press runs. Like Sarah Jessica Parker went on Call Her Daddy to talk to Alex Cooper, and I know it. No, I just want one person to be like, "Hey," and just like that's like crazy bad. Like everyone's like, Alex Cooper, she spills the tea. The tea would be Alex Cooper sits down with her and goes, "All right, so and just like that is insanely bad. What do you have to say about that?"
Well, also, we were talking about how all celebrity interviews now are led by people who don't want to alienate the celebrity. And that's why celebrity interviews fucking suck ass now. Because, okay, people always give Howard Stern shit. They're like, he's problematic. He asks guest questions that make them uncomfortable. And yet, when you think about iconic celebrity interview moments, they're like usually with like Howard Stern or David Letterman or someone who people online would say, like, oh, we hate him. He's so rude. He's so violating. Da 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 da. But like when we actually know things about celebrities that actually feel personal or real to us, they're from those interviews that you guys would claim the interviewer's too problematic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Remember when Howard Stern interviewed Anna Nicole Smith and goes, "Step on the scale"?
Yeah, but here's the truth. Like it's like that's something that's like, no, the public's gonna remember that. Meanwhile, I'm like, when like certain people kiss random people's asses, I won't even say who, but like it's like that's not actually memorable. Like these interviews aren't memorable. They're not journalism. They're not interesting.
You hear that, Maria Menounos?
Dude, okay, she's
on Nuvi.
I didn't make the connection
That
at
she's in
all.
Montreal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that she's in
that
Montreal.
Nuvi's Maria Menounos is in Montreal.
And then I was at the movie and I was like,
Yeah, you're like Jules.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is what Jules did after she left Keith. That's crazy.
Wait,
freaking
Keith?
crazy.
Maria Menounos dated Keith?
Yeah, well, she got paid by
Yeah.
Dan Scott to date Keith.
I was gonna say she's way too hot for
Yeah,
Keith.
no, she got
No, she got
was getting
paid to date
I'm
Keith.
and Maria Menounos is talking to me. I'm like, Dan's behind this.
No, it's Keith's fault for not
Yeah,
realizing
it's
that
Keith's
Dan was
fault
behind it.
for being like,
for
why is this
thinking
really
that
hot
this
lady
woman would be
into me?
interested.
Also, she's not only like really hot, she's also specifically interested in only what Keith is interested in. Like,
Right.
It's like, it
No, he's
really is like you have to
stupid. He's
be,
stupid.
Keith has to be so dumb to not be like, there's something afoot.
Yeah.
This 10 who likes all the same things as me is talking to me.
Well, that's the classic, like the hubris of the mid man to just
Yeah.
he actually
He's like,
won't
"Yep,
think
for
twice
sure."
if a hot woman just starts approaching him romantically.
Right.
He's like, oh yeah, this is what's supposed
But
to
also,
happen.
like, if your brother is Dan, like, you should be wary of everything in your
If
life.
my brother was Dan Scott, like I would be like paranoid, like a king who everyone's about to assassinate. I want people like taste my food.
Your brother's Dan Scott, and you just crossed him big time. Like, you just effed his wife.
And then
you think
randomly,
he's
this
not
really
gonna get
hot lady
revenge.
comes to the dealership
Yeah.
and she wants
Like, you
to
should
F
be
you.
walking on eggshells after you effed his
Yeah.
wife. You should be like, when is it coming?
Amen. Wait, I had one more question.
Dan, well, one
Oh,
second. Dan
sorry.
Scott will reveal that actually, like that new job you got is all a bunch of actors hired by him to trick you into quitting your old job, and he's like, and that's what you get for telling me I wasn't that good at basketball. Like that's it's like the smallest little thing.
No, but my jaw was on the floor when, because obviously I knew about Maria Menounos from Nuvi
Yeah.
and AMC.
Yeah.
And then I knew about Jules from One Tree Hill. And then it was only the other day at the movie that I was like, oh, Jules, Maria Menounos, Nuvi. And then all the
Okay,
everything
can
clicked.
I really quickly? Can I just really seriously? Can I ask a question that I know nobody's gonna like me even asking, but I think someone just at least might want to put it on the table? Is anyone else maybe a little bit kind of fucking done with the Nicole Kidman AMC thing? Like it was fun. It was fun for the first year and a half. But
like, why do they still play it?
It's still going.
Well, we were
and people
saying-
are still ironically cheering. And I'm like, I just don't know if it's that fun anymore.
I'm over
I
it.
agree, I
I'm
agree.
over it. I've been over it.
I agree.
And for me, it's overstayed its welcome. I think, okay.
It's been over for a
this
while.
This is something in general with Hollywood. Everything is overstaying its welcome. Too many, like, and people always say this, but like sequels, etc. Everything overstays its welcome. I'm like, you guys need to know when something's fucking done. When it's done. We don't like that anymore.
Well,
We're
here's-
over that.
Here's my pitch. I think what they should do is just replace the Nicole Kidman AMC ad every year with like a different iconic actress. That we all
Yeah,
like.
do
agree.
something else.
Have Sandra Bullock do one.
Amy
You know,
Right,
Adams.
because
have Amy
the
Adams
same
do one.
The same one is just so tired.
Yeah.
So I'm done.
It's the
Yeah, and the
same
people
thing.
ironically
For-
cheering. It's
I
like,
just,
oh my
it's-
god,
I'm
nobody
over. And the
cares.
cheering, I'm like, I'm over it. Or I'm not. If you guys
it.
disagree with this take, here's what's beautiful
No,
about this.
I
I'll
feel
change
like-
my beliefs immediately.
No, they won't. People think it's over.
When did we become so uncomfortable as a culture living in a state of like agreeing
Perpetual.
to disagree.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No, sorry.
I tried to guess what you said.
Yeah, it's okay. You missed that, but it's okay. I
I'm-
appreciate it. Actually, I like it when people guess because it's like it's good.
Pumpernickel. Not even close.
Not even close. No, I'm like we used to be able to hold space for nuance and gray area as a culture. Like it used to be okay if we weren't like all reaching the same conclusions, and I had respect for the conclusions you reached and you had respect for the conclusions I reached, and we could still live harmoniously knowing that like we had slightly different interpretations of the cultural events around us. Now there seems to be this like need for consensus that I find very unnerving. Why do we all need to be in agreement on everything?
Remember when the Barbie movie came out and then someone would give an interview where they said they didn't really like the Barbie movie that much, and then their address would be leaked online, and like there'd be videos posted of like their granddaughter with a gun to her head, and the
Yeah.
next day that person would have to release a
I
statement
love
being
the
like,
Barbie movie.
I love the Barbie
I
movie.
was wrong. When
I-
I first saw it, I had no idea that it actually was what womanhood is all about.
Before the Barbie movie, I woke up every day and slapped a new woman. After the Barbie movie, I do not do that anymore.
Right, people automatically go to doxing and getting them fired
Can I
for
make one-
literally any take.
And it's also just like your take. Who cares what my opinion about something is? My opinion doesn't move the needle on anything. What I think or feel doesn't move any needles, guys.
All right. Also, can I say this about the Barbie movie? And I say this as an ally with perfect politics. But the part of the Barbie movie that never made sense to me was when, Margot Robbie is crying. And America Ferrera gives her this great speech on what it means to be a woman. And it's a really well-written speech in and of itself. But in the context of the movie, Barbie isn't crying because it's hard to be a woman. She's crying because her friend-zoned kind of ex-boyfriend led a military coup of her homeland and imprisoned her friends.
Right.
Like, Barbie's not crying because a man talked over her in a meeting. Her boyfriend has enslaved the president of her world.
Yeah, and I think enough time has passed where we can talk about there were some ill-conceived elements of the Barbie movie.
And I think enough time has passed. I don't think women should vote.
and
I'm
he's
joking.
saying that as a future morose sex slave.
He's saying that as a future sex slave.
All right, are we ready to wrap up?
Yeah.
We're going to wrap up on that?
I mean, I have one more question if you guys want to answer.
Yeah, throw a question out there.
So I saw a video the other day of a girl. Okay, there's a lot of videos on TikTok where people are like overcoming my social anxiety by like dancing in public, or people will like, on a plane be like, "What's up, Seattle? Like, let's all cheer," and they like show the plane, whatever. There's like you've seen those videos, right?
Yeah, but also
Okay.
like I'm like when people are like I have social anxiety, I'm like get over it.
Regardless. Okay, so I see a video the other day of this girl. She's like dancing on the subway. And she's like, like dance like no one's watching. And like there's a bunch of people on the subway behind her. Like obviously it'll be like, okay, whatever. Some of them are looking at her, some of them don't care. Whatever. Comments are very much like, can we stop acting like people on the street are background characters in our lives, etc., etc. And I was really thinking about this because I'm like, here's my thing. I don't think it's rude to like be weird in public, because the reality is like at worst you've given someone like a story, but Robert doesn't. I know Robert doesn't really agree with
because
me.
there are
like,
two different things at play
Okay.
here. I don't think it's a problem to dance on the subway, but I do agree that it kind of is a problem
to dance and film people's
to
reactions.
film people's
Yeah.
reactions, because now again
Okay.
you are making them actors in your content.
Yeah.
And you're only saying this because you have often said there's a crowded restaurant behind you, an outdoor patio, and this was when your Dr. P era, and you'd be like, film me yelling a poem. And I'm like, I'll film you yelling a poem, but the people behind you are trying to
Right.
enjoy their lunch. And
Or
then you'll
like,
say,
blur them or something. I don't know.
yeah, I'm
Well,
just
I
like,
never put them.
No, but I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Like obviously if you're dancing alone on the subway, or like it's just posting other people on the internet without their
okay,
consent.
I
That's
think
literally
that's
all
true.
that it is.
I think I do.
I
Yeah,
really
I think that's true.
respect people's. I think people need to be able to live their normal lives
Yeah.
without having to worry that like they're being filmed and
100%.
documented.
And I think a lot about the whole like the surveillance. We've become the surveillance state, and we are Big Brother, and I don't like that. I don't like the idea that we're all
Wow,
like.
so you really flipped fast.
No,
on
I'm not
this.
flipping. I was genuinely positing the question.
If you're not filming it, then it's like
Okay.
then it's fine.
I
If
think
you're just
maybe
gonna
that's what
dance
I
on the
was-
subway and you're not like inconveniencing anybody, then whatever.
Also, I don't believe you have social anxiety if you're then filming it, posting it. It's like if
Right. You
anything,
obviously don't.
you're
You
too far the
obviously
other
don't.
direction.
Yeah.
You could use a little social
you could use
anxiety.
some. You could
right,
use
there's a
some.
reason why shame exists as an emotion,
Yeah,
as a guide.
people should be
right?
able to like ride the subway
Sure.
without having to make sure that they have exactly the right reaction. Because there's also, I've also seen viral videos of like a woman is filming herself in public and someone will walk by behind her, notice she's filming, and make like a face.
You'll be like, wow,
Yeah.
that lady was so judgmental.
Oh, women
Let's
hit
get her
other women.
fired.
And I'm
Wait,
like,
that
let
actually
people live.
brings me to another girl that I follow posted a video of her dancing Slay.
Oh, Slay.
Which even I like to do sometimes.
Wait,
But-
don't dox our location.
Sorry, I'll bleep it. Question mark. Okay. So they're girls dancing, and then there's like girls like just like who are on the side, and you know how when you're on the side, you're like kind of zoning out, or like maybe you're not paying attention to the person dancing. But all the comments, that was going really viral because all the comments were like, "Wow, the secret hater energy of like the girls on the side. Like, wow, these were not girls. Wow, these were." And like again, they're I swear to God, they're just like standing there, like they're not like being haters.
Yeah.
They're just because like someone's not like actively going, yeah.
Like hyping them up.
Again, but I think that
Yeah.
speaks to what we're talking about, where it's like, no, like the fact that they can just like stand there and be like, yeah, and then when that dance ends, they
Right.
clap and they go, wow,
Also, it's
not
like-
enough clapping. Not enough clapping.
That was probably like the
Anyway.
10th time. Like, it's not like you're seeing it for the first time. They've been in that class for an hour and a half. They've seen her do the dance like a million
they're
times
tired.
at this
They've
point.
been dancing
I also
too.
don't like the idea that like again videos go viral because people are commenting on how strangers are reacting incorrectly when it's like they did not consent to being on camera
Yeah.
in the first place. Anyway,
But also, I do look like stone faced when I'm watching a girl who's so good because I'm just in shock.
yeah, exactly.
I'm just
Okay,
like,
it's
wow.
kind of giving secret hater energy.
But I'm not a secret hater in my head. I'm like, oh my God, she's so good. And I clap.
Well, again,
But that's what I was thinking because I was like the girls they were talking about. I'm like I'm sure that's what I would look like if I was watching someone really good.
Yeah.
well,
like-
this happened to me recently because a girl was filming herself doing a little dance on the street, and I walk by in the background, and you see me go, "Ew, a woman with confidence!" And I should be allowed to do that without getting doxxed. Good night, young old.
Pooh and Pee, haven't you heard
don't
this
you know?
song?
Come
The
on,
Greatest
you know
Showman
this
is
one.
mainstream. This is me. Good night.